Things that come to light. There are lots of things that have happened on missions that Pops knew nothing about. For instance, some time ago Pops was persuaded against his better judgement to get a dog. "We will all take it for walks, Dad." "Yes, for a week," Pops said, "and then what?" "Oh, let them have a dog," said Nana, so the Oranges got a dog. Someone suggested calling it Chewbacca out of Star Wars. "That would be a great name for a dog," said Pops. No, that's not a good idea at all," cried the kids in unison. Then all looked at each other with a kind of grin that said, "We know something that you don't." What they knew was that one of the names the young people called Pops on mission was indeed Chewbacca. "Chewbacca? Why Chewbacca?" asked Pops. "Because that's what they said you sounded like when you were shouting instructions when the tent was going up or coming down, or unloading, or about to leave, or crossing a border, or—" "Yes, thank you, kids." Pops tried to look shocked, but he was thinking, Chewbacca, eh? Cool. He hadn't a clue what Chewbacca was. Dozens of names were suggested, so Nana decided to call the dog Sam. A more edifying story Pops heard of not long ago had happened in one of the missions in Moldova. Because there were so many people responding to the gospel and coming forward to be spoken to or prayed for, Pops was worried someone might fall over and get trodden on. So he asked those who weren't coming forward to leave the tent. Everywhere he looked, people were praying, some with tears of repentance, some clapping with joys of sins forgiven. While all this was happening, Liz, one of the team, was praying for a lady, when suddenly the woman interrupted her, saying to the interpreter, "This young girl speaks very good Russian. Where did she learn?" Liz couldn't actually speak a word of Russian. She was praying in tongues, but in perfect Russian, and God was blessing the lady speaking to her in her native tongue. Now Liz has a great husband and a wonderful son, and Pops is sure she wouldn't dream of calling Pops Chewbacca. The team had returned to one of the towns in Kalmykia, where the previous year they had held a mission. As usual in that part of Russia, any foreign trucks had to report to the local police station, and an armed guard would be placed around the truck until morning. As the team was starting breakfast, there was a knock on the door, and a mother and daughter appeared, whom the team recognised from the previous year. It was wonderful to see them again, and obvious that they were excited to see everyone. No sooner had they sat down to chat when others appeared at the door, this time a film crew from the regional TV. They had heard the team had arrived back and wanted an interview with Pops, but before he could say anything, the mother said, "I'll speak to them." So the cameras were switched on and off she went. 1 year ago, Jesus came to our town and many of us were saved, and now we all have a beautiful church and a good pastor. Last year the doctors told me I had very bad cancer and nothing could be done to help me. We went to the big tent and heard about Jesus' healing people and watching these people laying hands on some of our friends and praying. I couldn't go to the front, so I told my daughter just to do what that man was doing, so she put her hands on my head. I went back to the hospital and this time they couldn't find anything wrong with me. No cancer, no nothing. Buddha hasn't done anything for us. A lot of the townspeople were Buddhists, but Jesus has washed us clean and healed us. And many other people have been healed in the town because we told our friends and neighbours what Jesus could do, and they were also healed when we prayed for them. When she had finished, Pops asked how they knew the team were back in the town. "My daughter woke up the other morning and told me she dreamt the Jesus people would be arriving tomorrow, so here we are to welcome you." The good pastor had arrived 9 months after the mission. He had been on a YWAM, Youth with a Mission, course back in the Ukraine. At the end of the course, the teacher asked all the class to pray individually, asking God where he wanted to send them. The young man couldn't get a clear answer except for a strange sounding word popping into his head. So he went to the teacher to ask what he should do. He advised him to have a look in an atlas and see if he could find it. Wonderfully, it was the very town where the mission had been and where the beautiful new church was now.